Welcome back to RC Truth Media. Well, what's going on with that Federal Reserve ruining our monetary system? I knew it, I knew it, I knew it. Quantitative tightening is definitely the factor that is going to drop the dollar to its knees. The Fed's QT program increases to 50 billion per month this month. Stocks are on thin ice. Let's cut through the market BS. The Fed is the single most important issue for the markets, not tariffs, not trade wars, not even the economy. Remember, from 2008 through 2015, the U.S. markets were completely driven by Fed policy and little else. It was Fed QE programs combined with 7 years of zero interest rate policy that allowed the U.S. markets to explode higher, despite the weakest recovery in 80 years. With that in mind, when the Fed began its attempt to normalize policy with its first rate hike in 2015, it represented an attempt to pass off this role to the real economy. When the markets remained elevated, the Fed then decided to accelerate the pace of normalization, but hiking rates more aggressively while also introducing QT in an attempt to shrink its massive $4.5 trillion balance sheet. At first, the impact of QT was overshadowed by the fact that the European Central Bank and the Bank of Japan were engaging in QE programs of $150 plus billion per month. In this context, the fact that the Fed was engaging in quantitative tightening of 10 billion had little impact. However, fast forward to the end of first quarter in 2018 when the Fed increased the pace of QT to $30 billion per month. At the same time that the BOJ and EBC had begun tapering their own QE programs, and the market definitely took note then. Now, also take note of this: $30 billion per month. That's in the first quarter, right? Now they are going to increase this number to 50 billion in the second quarter. So get ready. We thought we saw the drop now. We're definitely going to see the drop then. All right. This in turn began to blow up emerging stock markets, with Brazil, Turkey, and even China entering official bear markets with drops of 20%. Thus far, the US stock market has held up relatively well, but this is where it gets really, really bad. The Fed will raise the pace of its QT program to 50 billion this month, and it's doing it at the same time that the ECB is dropping its own QE program to below 30 billion per month. Put another way, this is the first time since 2008 that global market monetary policy will be negative. More money will be leaving the system via QT than will be entering it via QE. With that in mind, the S&P 500 is on very thin ice. It must hold its trend line, blue line, and critical support, which is the red line, or it will be joining the emerging market space in a 20% drop. Put simply, the Fed needs to walk back its QT program now, or else it is risking a bear market for US stocks. The time to prepare for this is now, before the carnage hits. On that note, they are already preparing their clients with a 21-page investor report that shows them 4 investment strategies that will protect their capital when and if the stock market crash hits. It's called the Stock Market Crash Survival Guide. I'll go ahead and leave a link below here. Zero Hedge is doing a great job of covering the crash in the dollar and what's happening with our monetary system. We are changing over into a new system, and that is for sure. Zero Hedge does have an article today, matter of fact, about going into the new system, and I'm going to go ahead and see if we can cover that here. This article: as the currency reset begins, get gold, as it is where the whole world is heading. Okay, by James Rickard for Agora Financial's Gold Speculator. This may be the most important commentary I've ever written. Here's why. For years, financial analysts have discovered what's called the global monetary reset. Expectations of the GMR stem from the fact that monetary policies around the world are unstable and unsustainable. That's for sure. They're definitely unstable and unsustainable because they're fiat. It's backed by nothing but the faith of those using the system. Okay, so we're going to go down here so I could show you this article. It says, there is no anchor to the system. There is no limit on money printing. There is no limit on debt creation. Such a system grows exponentially based on the false belief that governments can spend as much as they want, and central banks will pick up the tab or bail out the system as needed. Politicians love the system because they can buy votes from their citizens. Central bankers love the system because of the power and prestige it brings them. Citizens love the system because they get handouts, bailouts, pumped up asset values, and other goodies seemingly for free. What's not to like? The problem, of course, is that the system is unstable and unsustainable. It's a huge inverted pyramid of promises poised on a small sliver of real money called gold. It's bound to tip over and come crashing down as it has many times in the past, from the jubilees of the ancient Israel to the global financial crisis of 2008. The '08 panic would have closed banks and capital markets globally, but for tens of trillions of dollars of central bank intervention. That bailout money printing has still not been mopped up. The '08 bailout has sown the seed to the next crisis. Viewing this broadly, an objective analysis can see that a new system based on some hybrid of dollars, gold, and the IMF's world money, called special drawing rights, the SDRs, is inevitable. This new system could even include an encrypted distributed ledger or blockchain, and might revert to fixed exchange rates instead of floating. This is very much true. Okay, I believe this article when it's talking about the ledger and backed by assets. The GMR would be a return to something like the old Bretton Woods system in 1944 through 73, but with 21st century characteristics and technology. This is what is meant by the global monetary reset. That much is clear. The open issues for students of the GMR are when it happens and how. There are two answers to the how part. It can either happen in a proactive way by convening in a new global monetary conference similar to the Bretton Woods, the Plaza Accord, or the Louvre Accord, or it can happen in a chaotic fashion in response to a new financial crisis, as occurred at the G20 Washington Summit, led by George Bush and Nicolas Sarkozy in November of 2008. My estimate has always been that the GMR would be conducted in a panic due to the lack of leadership and foresight of the global monetary elites. The answer to the when part is necessarily uncertain, but given what we know about the dynamics of complex systems and the scaling metrics of the current international monetary regime, the best answer is probably soon. That's for sure. In a nutshell, a catastrophic collapse is coming, probably sooner than later, and the result will be an entirely new international monetary system in which the dollar is dethroned as the world's leading reserve currency and something new is put in its place. That's the GMR. What if I told you the GMR already happened and no one even noticed? Here I have to acknowledge that some of the information that follows was provided to me by a source. The work of this source is tentative and requires more independent research, yet it looks solid enough right now to share with readers. I'll be writing more about this revelation in my new book, Aftermath, coming October 30th, 2018. In Aftermath, I'll disclose more about the origin. For now, I just want to be fair and acknowledge that it originated with an unsolicited research report sent to me from a correspondent named D.H. Bauer, based in Switzerland. We call him DHB for now. Let's start with a simple analysis we've all done ourselves and expand that analysis with information. Then I'll provide some conclusions that stem from this presentation. We all follow the price of gold. We think of gold as $1,320 per ounce. We say it is up or down by $10 per ounce and so on. When we do this, we're really quoting a cross rate between dollars and an ounce of gold. Let's call this cross rate USD/gold. I'm going to go ahead and leave this article here so you can go ahead and read it for yourselves, okay? It's a pretty interesting article. But basic bottom line, saying you need to get some gold, silver, cryptos, and yeah, have some dollars as well because you never know what's going to happen, alright? And definitely have you some food and water because you can't eat gold and you can't eat silver, but you definitely need food and water to survive. Thanks a lot for coming and checking this video out. Like and subscribe. Donate if it's possible. I would definitely appreciate this. I'm not getting anything paid through YouTube yet. As of now, I don't have enough subscribers. But thanks, and I will be making some more videos very soon. You have a great day.